Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning, happy to be here.
Something about this community appeals to you?
This is a wonderful place to live.
For Kelowna Now, this is Camp Mulgat. And we're joined by Rick Worrall, the closest thing you're going to get to John Denver in the Okanagan.
I look like him so much, I'll tell you.
You so don't.
No, I know. It's actually pretty funny, when we're doing the show. I make a joke about it. I look out in the audience and I say, I can see people with their mouth wide open. They can't get past the uncanny resemblance.
Okay, so we talked to you. Well, how long ago was it we first talked?
It was about 18 months ago. I think it was.
About your initial Rocky Mountain High. Now it's a Christmas Rocky
right.
Mountain High.
Yeah, a Rocky Mountain High Christmas. And so it's basically what we decided to do this time around. We've had a tremendous success with a Rocky Mountain High, an evening of John Denver, and played centers, from Toronto to Victoria with symphonies in all of them. And we decided, John had such a great success with his Christmas records. I think we were talking,
Right.
a little bit about the Muppet Christmas. That's one of my
Right.
favorite, one of my favorite Christmas specials
You're
of
not
all
too
time.
proud to get up there and sing songs made most famous by Muppets.
No, not at all. It's funny. I'll talk about something else too, but it's something about John, which is kind of really funny. But anyway, so we looked at the Christmas material, and so we decided to put together a show that encompassed the original show with Rocky Mountain High, Country Roads, Thank God I'm a Country Boy, and all those songs, and introduce the Christmas element to it for this season. And so we're going to be bringing in songs from his. It was called A Rocky Mountain Christmas, and then the Muppet Christmas Special. And I think people are going to have a lot of fun with it. There's some great moving songs, and John had a way of delivering some of those songs, and he wrote Christmas songs as well. So, that we're incorporating those songs into the show.
Right, and last time your selection of songs, I couldn't believe it. There was a certain song that you left out. That was my favorite.
It was
my hints being that it was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, and soft as a downy chick.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
So you got that in now?
It's in for the Christmas one, and it's kind of cool because we talk about going to Grandma's house at Christmas time. That's what we all do.
So
right?
fits in.
Yeah, it does. And so, I think what we left it. We didn't. It was so difficult the first time around because there were so many songs, and we had "Thank God I'm a Country Boy" already in there, and so similar kind of knee slapping,
Yes.
fun song, and so it was just the decision. It's not that we didn't like the song or anything like that, but we had to bring it. There were so many songs to choose from, we had to narrow it down. And
it is amazing. I think a lot of people who remember John Denver have a few songs, but then you can just keep naming more. Like, oh yeah, that one and that one. Like there are so many.
There are. I think a lot of times too, what happens is people don't clue into the name of the song, but as soon as they hear the song, they go, "Oh, I had no idea," or "Oh yeah, of course, I remember that." Even today with the kids today, and I go, the kids that don't know who John Denver is, because really, he's been gone a long time, and almost 20 years or over 20 years, and his time was really the 70s and early 80s. So these kids weren't even born. So you say, who's John Denver? And they go, I haven't got a clue. Right. But then you say, well, have you heard Leaving on a Jet Plane by Chantal Kreviazuk? Oh yeah, well, that's John Denver. How about Sunshine on My Shoulders by Carly Rae Jepsen? Yeah, that's right. John Denver, And who hasn't been to a hockey game and heard Thank God I'm a Country Boy?
Right.
And then there was the Kinsmen too that had Country Roads was one of the main songs in it. So
and he sold a ton of records. He's you were saying at
close to 100 million.
At RCA, there's Elvis, who's the king, and right next down is John
Denver, second biggest selling artist on RCA Records.
100 million records he sold. And I think he was always this kind of golly gee, smiley-faced guy, and I think some people would discount him as an artist because he wasn't edgy enough.
Well, I think I think you got to look at the time when he came along too. He came along at the height, in the 70s, and what was going on at the 70s. There was the end of the Vietnam War. There was still a lot of protest songs in the early 70s. Rock and roll, what we call classic rock today, was really exploding. Album rock, you had bands like Genesis and Supertramp, Led Zeppelin, all those bands really hitting their peak. Pink Floyd in the 70s.
Yes.
And here you got this sugary, sweet guy that sings everything in a major key. I mean, and so there's such a contrast. It almost was, at the time, it was almost like, well, that's the stuff my parents would listen to.
Right.
And in essence it was, but he was one of those guys that sort of crossed over the genre, like the age groups, because he appealed to the mother and father, the kids, and the grandparents.
Right. So when you have these events in Kelowna and elsewhere, and you look out at the crowd, fair amount of gray hair out there.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. But it's interesting. It's probably the majority. Like the majority is probably in that 50 to 70 range. But then, like I say, you've got the mothers bringing the kids. So you're getting into that 30 to 50 range. And then you've got them bringing their mothers and fathers. So you're getting into that older 70 and up range.
What a thrill it must be for you. You get to work with Lee Holdridge, who arranged the symphonic performances that John Denver did back in the day, working with you.
Right.
And what's that like? And then you get to meet the symphonies across the country?
Well, working with Lee is just probably a dream come true for me. I mean, I keep pinching myself, and even when I'm on stage and I'm singing these songs, that I grew up with and cut my, guitar teeth on, and to turn around and see him. I saw Lee with John Denver in 1975 at the CNE in Toronto. And here I am on stage with him. And the neat thing about it is he is such a genuine, nice person. Just a really down-to-earth, really, really nice person. And he wrote all those arrangements. Not only did he, conduct John's music at that time, but he wrote all these amazing arrangements like Annie's Song. To me, and that's something as somebody who studies music, the arrangers don't get enough credit a lot of times. A songwriter will write a song on a guitar or a piano, and then the arranger comes in and to me takes it to that next level. It just creates that unforgettable,
Well, John
production.
Denver wouldn't have been what he was if it wasn't for Lee Holdridge.
I think that. I mean, I think he wrote great good songs.
Right.
I think, and some great songs. There were some really classic songs. I think Lee's arrangements take it to that next level. I really think that he pushed them over that edge of greatness.
Okay, so just to review, this is November 28th, 29th, and 30th at the Kelowna Community Theatre. And then into the new year, you'll be taking your original Rocky Mountain High collection of songs again across the country.
Yeah, we're hoping. We haven't been to the Maritimes yet, and or Quebec, and so we're hoping in the late spring, early summer, we'll be in the Maritimes and Quebec, and then the idea is to take this version, the Rocky Mountain High Christmas, back to the places we've been to already, which is, like I say, Toronto to Victoria.
Just as
in
it
the
starts
fall.
to get close enough to Christmas.
Yeah,
it's
it's a season. It's a seasonal show, so we're looking at the last part of November into December.
Right. I think we've blown way past time. Rick Worrell, thanks for telling us about your
thanks for having me.
Your show, and thank you for watching Kelowna Now.